Hey everyone, Chef Cameron Tait here for Outdoor Canada's Wild Cuisine. I tell you, maximizing different cuts off of a venison from your fresh harvest is really sometimes more difficult than the shot itself. So let me show you how we're gonna take a actual shoulder and a bicep from this venison to make something really tasty. So this actual cut is from the shoulder and the bicep. So it has the shoulder blade and this part of the muscle. It doesn't have the shank, which would be down here. So the shoulder blade, it's actually a paddle bone, so it's a flat bone, and it's sort of got like a T shape to it. And this is a really highly underutilized cut. If aged properly, you can grill this, you can roast it, you can fast fry it, super versatile. So really important, you gotta pick the right knife. This is a paring knife. It's only about 3 inches, way too short to use. This one here is a 5 inch, it's sort of a utility knife. It has a little bit of a flex to it, but it's actually too wide, you know, to get around certain bones. And the perfect knife is something like this. It has sort of a curved tip on it. It's a 6 inch, and it actually has a nice amount of bend. And a boning knife, sometimes you're using it to cut in and around the ball joint, next to the bones itself. And if it has a little bit of flex to it, it's perfect. So some people are intimidated when it comes to actually taking the meat off the bone. Really, all you want to do is run your knife along the bone and sort of feel as you go. So I'm going to make a vertical cut on this blade bone, and I'm actually cutting right down to it. I can't go anywhere else. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate these two muscles, and there's actually a seam here that you can follow. So go from here, and we're going to go all the way down to where the bicep is. So now get your finger in there and you can cut next to that joint, and now we're going to do a horizontal cut. And this is where a flexible knife is good, that you can kind of bend it to get it right next to that paddle. I always start this way and then I sort of go to the left. And me being right-handed, it's a little bit easier that way. We can trim this off after. So now the paddle bone, you can see it ends right here. We're going to make that incision and follow it along, just like that. So now all you have to do is take that piece off. That's the first one. So now we're going to do the same thing on this side, on the other side of the bone, and we're going to go right up to this joint and then down like that. And what I like to do is sort of cut, and then you can push with your thumb away. Just trying to get all that meat. And a little bit like that, and then off. So that's the second one, like that. There is a little bit of the meat on the back side, and you can use this for grind, stew meat. Okay, so now we're going to take the back muscle off. All you're going to do is start here, and then you're going to work down to where the joint is, the ball joint. Take that one off. So to remove the silver skin and the unwanted meat that you want in there, so I usually go away from me a little bit under the silver skin and then towards me. Let me show you how. So you just want to go just a little bit under the silver skin, and I pull it tight, and then you try to have as least amount of strokes as possible. And then clean up the backside here. And again, this one is really good for a venison stir fry. And then on this cut here, take your knife and just run it along where you see this little bit of silver skin. Open it up. And then this way, you can actually grill this piece whole if you take this out, and it's all edible. Okay, now we can take a little bit off of here. Anything that has any age to it or discoloration. Again, you go a little bit away from you and I pull it tight, and then I go towards myself. I could trim it up a little bit more. And actually, this meat, I've aged it 14 days to make this meat nice and tender. This is a very tough muscle, but if you age it 14 days or even a little bit more, the meat is actually nice and tender. So now there's this other muscle right here, and you see this heavy silver skin right here. So we want to take that out. So just go underneath it, and it'll go into these two muscles are actually overlapping. And open it up like that. So now go this way and go towards you. And this is where when you have a sharp knife, it's so easy to do. That one's good. And if I want, I can take this one off for a grind and then have this one for a grilling steak. And there is some oxidization on this meat, right on the corners. We can take that off. But anytime you can age your meat, the flavor is so much better. I'll take that off. So we got a beautiful piece of meat here for grilling. So there you go, a fully deboned venison shoulder and shoulder blade roast. We've got stew meat. We have a couple, 3 roasts here that you can do a stir fry or a grill on the barbecue. We've got a little bit of a grind and trim meat here. That's it. Happy cooking.